We need to save our democracy, and things are changing under 47, and we have to be aware, and we have to start to speak up. We have to speak up, we have to stay peaceful, and we have to just keep speaking up and never stop.
Trump's a bitch.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. We don't like him. That's the word around here.
Any particular reason why you don't like him?
No clue at all. I'm just going with everybody else saying.
Can I do a quick interview real quick with Dad?
Sure.
So I want to see what your signs say here. So one of your daughters, this is your daughters, right?
Yeah.
Your daughters?
This
Okay.
is.
Okay, so this one says we don't need a fat pooping president. Can you guys get that? Okay. And then you have don't obey. And you have not being paid, I hate Trump for free. So do you think that's appropriate to teach your kids to hate and think of our president like that? Because shouldn't we respect the office of the president no matter what?
It would be nice if we could respect each other, but obviously he set the tone. You know, everything he talks about now is the Democrats are evil and this, that, and the other. It's gotten extreme for sure. There's good Republicans, there's good Democrats,
I agree.
and right now there is a horrible person in the White House. He's living on division.
So why don't we teach our kids that instead of teaching them to hate, right? Like we don't hate anybody, right?
Right, man, you're totally right. I stand corrected. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad that you figured it out. That means you're a good dad. So
Good man,
all right,
yeah.
be careful out here.
Look, I'm not trying to gaslight. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to minimize, anyone's position politically. But these No Kings protests that are supposedly, generating tens of thousands of people who are coming out to protest against Trump and fascism and authoritarianism. Listen, these protests are absolute flop. We're not even halfway into these protests, and these protests have already flopped. There's a big one that was planned in my city. I live down near the water, and I rolled by just a few minutes ago, and ain't many people out there. They said thousands. I don't even think I saw hundreds. And even if thousands of people did show up to these protests, the protests would still be a flop, because the protests are based on something that simply is not true about America. There are no kings in any leadership position in America. Let me give you the primary example, and if you can argue your way out of this one, hey, you're good. We are currently experiencing a government shutdown. That means that a certain number of democratically elected officials are refusing to vote on the budget, or are refusing to vote in favor of a budget to keep the government open, keep government workers paid, keep government services being rendered, right? If you lived under a monarchy, that's when you're ruled by a king. Wouldn't Donald Trump simply be able to say, hey, keep the government open, doesn't matter what they think, let's execute everyone who doesn't agree with me and keep the party going? That's what a king could do. He can literally execute people who oppose him and just keep going with whatever plan he has in mind. Donald Trump can't do that. Right about now, I bet he wishes he had that type of power, but he can't do it because this is a republic that is run on a system of representative democracy. That's what we live in. That fact alone proves the ignorance of these protests. It proves that these people are not out there showing their butt because of patriotism. They're showing their butt because of pure, unadulterated, and in many cases, willful ignorance. They're being willfully obtuse, pretending not to get it. The sad part about all this is that you have a bunch of politicians who know exactly how this country works, encouraging and perpetuating this nonsense in hopes that it will spark into a violent event, much like the Summer of Love following the death of George Floyd. And that violent event will scare people enough to where they will be afraid to vote Republican and they will just default vote Democrat in the name of keeping the peace. That's what this is all about. You don't have a king. There's no need for a no kings protest. We should have a no idiots or no morons protest, or a advocacy for the funding of civics lessons. You remember that? Oh, this person needs to take a civics lesson. You remember the Democrats ran on that during the elections? Oh, you need a civics lesson, a civics lesson. You need to learn how this country runs, right? That's what they always say. But why is damn near everything they do based on ignorance and a lack of knowledge when it comes to civics? If you went out to that beach, if a Democrat politician went out to that beach and was like, guys, we live in a representative democracy, which I hate to call it that because it's really a republic that is basically based on representative democracy. That's how it's run. If you went out there and said that, they would boo you. They might throw stuff at you. They might attack you because this is what they do. There would be no one there. There would be no one there. They wouldn't show up. It's like if you have to lie to get people to come together, you're no good for this country. People should unite based on truth, not simply a common hatred of an individual or a common hatred of the country that has been so good to us all. Another thing that really bothers me, and another thing that proves that this is a failure, is this. Donald Trump was duly elected, democratically elected, won not only the electoral vote, but won the popular vote as well. So when you go against him, you're not really going against him. You're going against the will of the American people. Whether you agree with him, whether you hate Trump, you like Trump, whether you voted for him, you didn't vote for him, he was democratically elected by the majority of Americans, and he won in a landslide. So why is it that the same people saying, oh, this is what democracy looks like, they are fighting against democracy because democracy didn't decide in the way that they prefer. They didn't get the results that they wanted. It's like a fan who bets on a team, their team loses, so now the game is rigged. The referees are in cahoots with one of the teams. Oh, this game was fixed. The mob bosses have already fixed the game. It's always an excuse. They can't accept, the loss. And what does the old saying say? It's not whether you win or lose. It's how you play the game. And in my opinion, the liberal side of the aisle, they're playing a dirty game. And also a very dangerous game, because when you start exploiting the ignorance of the people, you're laying the foundation for something really bad to happen. And honestly, I hate to say this, but I feel like that might be what they want. They might want carnage, because the last time they created violence, carnage, and chaos, they managed to win an election that they really had no chance, that we all thought they had no chance of winning. It's an effective strategy in politics. If you make people afraid to vote for the other side, you win, right? I go to Africa a lot. That's how they do them in Africa. Hey, get the gang together, give them machetes, give them pangas, and go out and chop everybody who don't agree with us. Well, you know what happens when people think that they're gonna die if they vote for a certain group or party? Guess what? They simply don't participate. And the people who are doing the violence, they win by default. Why do I feel those vibes in America? I should not feel this way in this country. I should not feel this way in my country. It should never be about violence. It should never be a situation where violence is accepted against people who don't agree with you. We debate those things. Like we don't shoot over those things. To quote Al Sharpton, someone I never thought I would be quoting. Another thing is when you go past these protests, I really want you to look at the demographic, the age demographic that is most heavily represented in these protests. It's never people who are like adult, like between the ages of like 24 and 40, right? That's never the majority. There are a few there, but not a whole bunch. It's always either college-aged adults, like between 18 and 21, or even some high schoolers, 16, 15, and then people who are senior citizens over 65. Those two groups of people have something in common. 9 times out of 10, they have no responsibility when it comes to other people, right? Their kids are out of the house, or they don't have kids. If they have a home, it's paid off, or or they don't have any plans of buying a home anytime soon. They, for the most part, are dependent on some type of income source that they don't have to work for. If you're 18 to 21, you're dependent on your parents or or financial aid or whatever. If you are over 65, you are receiving Social Security, you're living off your retirement, something along that nature. Well, when you don't have major responsibilities like kids, daycare, car notes, mortgage payment, all this type of stuff, it makes it very easy to adopt this like free-for-all, everybody gets what they want type of attitude. Because you're like, I don't have to go work to pay the taxes that's going to provide all that free stuff for everybody. I put my time in. It's like employees who have retired from a company having a say in the decisions of that company that will affect current employees, the people who are currently employed and working at that time. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they are no longer impacted by the decisions that they are making. They are making decisions for another group that will be impacted, that will have an impact on another group that they are not a part of. That is why you see such a disparity between the political leanings of working class Americans and even college educated Americans or senior citizens or young adults, college age adults, right? Because the working class American, I'm a part of that group, right? We have to think about today, tomorrow, and the day after that for our families. We don't have much to give or to send out in the name of charity or free socialism or communism. We have to kind of take care of home first, and then whatever we might have left over, we then have to make a real decision about whether we're willing to share that. But when you go to these protests, there is an overrepresentation of those groups, senior citizens and college age adults. That should tell you something. That should be all you need to see. I want to see where the working age adults are. The 30-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, the 28-year-olds. Where are they? You know where they're at? They're at work. And if they're not at work, they are trying to get the most out of this Saturday that they can because they got Sunday off and then Monday they have to be back at work. This is just facts. This is just reality. Why are you running out protesting, wasting everybody's time over something that's not reality? Because the political party that these people align with or subscribe to, they don't care about reality. The only reality they care about is their paycheck going into their pocket. That's why, even though government workers are not getting paid because they are holding the government hostage, they still are receiving their paycheck. If you cut the paychecks, if you held the paychecks of congressmen and women across America, you know how fast the government would be open? It will be open instantly because they're not going to miss a payday. They don't care if you miss a payday, but they're not going to miss a payday because they long since, I think it's the 28th Amendment, where it made it to where the pay of congressional representatives cannot be stopped due to a government shutdown. So they protected their money a long time ago. Why are they okay with the government workers' money being stopped? The Republicans, they'll vote for the budget today, right now. Who's not voting for the budget and why? And I'm probably going to cover this tonight. You are going to be shocked at the things that the Democrats are demanding that the Republicans put back into the budget for them to vote on it and approve of it. I'll give you one crazy thing. Circumcisions in Uganda. Millions of dollars for circumcisions in Uganda that was removed from the budget because it's a waste of money. They are demanding that go back into the budget or they're not going to vote on it. Listen, that's all I have for you on that. Till the next time, let me know what you think in the comments. Take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other.